So it seems like everyone in the world is now starting to get ADHD, which honestly, that's a topic for a different story. But the thought of concentrating or focusing on one thing in particular, or in actual fact doing the same thing over and over again, sounds like an issue that a lot of people have when it comes to the gym, fitness, nutrition, whatever. And honestly, it's one of the main things as to why people do not stick to doing the same thing over and over, because they just get bored of it. So you're probably wondering, how the fuck can I navigate my fitness journey around it? Because let's be honest, as I always preach, the main way that you get results is by sticking to doing the same thing over and over, which works, and doing that consistently. For example, sticking to a calorie deficit every single day, going into the gym and doing the same 5 or 6 exercises every single day that you go into the gym and progressing on them. Having a set routine, you kind of struggle with that as well. Well, I'd like to say that I'm part of that squad as well. I've got a few letters, specifically HD. I don't know what that is, but my doctor says that I've got 80. So I understand the struggles, I really do. And honestly, there are a few things that I've had to apply to my own life to be able to continue with my own fitness journey and actually get results. The first main thing that I recommend that you do is diarise everything. It might sound a little bit extreme and a little bit obsessive, but it's really, really not. In fact, do you know what is obsessive? When people sit down and watch the same soap 3 times a week, and if they don't, they end up having a little bit of a meltdown. That's obsessive. Diarising everything is not obsessive. It's actually a really, really, really positive tactic that you can use to ensure that you get everything done in order and structured. So write down in your diary the 3 or 4 or 5 days that you're going to go to the gym a week, and make sure that you stick to it in much the same way as what you do if you had like a non-negotiable meeting at work that you needed to attend. Diarise when you're going to be eating food. Diarise when you're going to be going for a walk. Diarise when you're going to be going to work. Diarise when you're going to be going to sleep or whatever. Just make sure everything is written down, because you're going to be more likely to adhere to it. And this is something known as the open circuit theory. The open circuit theory is whereby if you've got something planned, or if you're currently in the midst of doing something, it will stay on your mind until it's completed. If you've ever worked at a restaurant, I guarantee you know everything about the table that you're serving. You know their food order, their drink order, what they're wearing, potentially even their names if you've asked for that. And you will know that until they pay the bill and leave the restaurant. That is what we call a closed circuit. So if you've got something planned, if you've got something written down, then that is an open circuit, and you will continue to think about that until it's completed. Secondly, if you get bored of doing the same thing over and over in the gym because it's so repetitive and there's not much novelty into it, then I recommend you do this. For people who do suffer with this kind of lack of enjoyment when it comes to doing the same thing over and over, I tend to program them something called a wing it workout. Now what a wing it workout is, you're going to focus on 1, 2, maybe even 3 exercises that you have to do consistently every time you go into the gym and progress on them. An overhead press, a squat and a deadlift. That's a perfect 3 exercises that you can focus on. The rest of your workout, the rest of the exercise that you do, can be whatever the fuck you'd like. Anything that tickles your fancy, anything that you enjoy, anything that fills you with that novelty because you want to do it. Tricep extensions, bicep curls, dips, calf presses, abductions, adductions, whatever you want. Just make sure that you focus on progressing those 1 to 3 exercises at the start of the workout first, and then you can do whatever the fuck you want afterwards. Because that way you're going to be getting the best of both worlds. You're going to be progressing the 2 to 3 exercises that you've got at the start, but then you're also going to be scratching your brain and giving yourself that novelty that you want with doing the rest of the exercises afterwards. And finally, give yourself some form of accountability to doing these things as well. In my opinion, accountability to the general population is one of the most important tools that you can have in your fitness journey arsenal, because if you are accountable to something, if you've got consequences for not doing something, you will most likely do it. And I'm not saying this accountability has to be something mad or complex. I'm not saying you've got to spend £1,000 to buy a new gym kit or whatever just to make sure that you do it. It literally be something as simple as getting what we call an accountability jar. Now what an accountability jar is, every time that you say that you're going to do something and you eventually do not do it, you're going to put some money in that accountability jar. It could be £1, it could be £2, it could be a £5, it could be a tenner, however much you want to spare, and use that in the same way as what you do a swear jar. And then at the end of the month, all of the money in that accountability jar you're going to use to buy a gift for somebody who you absolutely despise. And because you're going to look at that as a consequence, because you don't want to buy a gift for somebody that you hate, you're going to make it your sole ambition to make sure that you do the shit that you said that you would. You're adding a consequence for not doing something, even despite the fact that you have concentration issues, ADHD, or a sprinkle of autism. Try these 3 steps and I guarantee you'll find it way, way easier to stick to your fitness journey for longer without getting bored and without just pressing the fuck it button. I hope this helps and I hope this makes sense. If you like this video, give it a like. If you got any questions for me, comment below because I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. And if you want any more free fitness or fat loss based content without any of the bullshit as always, make sure that you're either following my Instagram at k.p_health or subscribe to this channel. Peace.